Alright, welcome ladies and gents. Avatar The Way of Water runtime is going to be over 3 hours long. Just going to let that sink in. I know loads of people will be loving this idea. I myself, look, I'm not. 3 hours 10 minutes for this movie? Goodness me. I know loads of people will be like, yeah, that's going to be great, but that's because the statement itself is predicated on the fact that you believe it's going to be good. I don't know if this is going to be good. I don't have any inkling either way whether it be good or bad. But I tell you what, for 3 hours 10 minutes, it has to be good. It truly has to be a good film for 3 hours 10 minutes. Because that's very long. And it has to be a good film for multiple reasons. One, because it has to earn that runtime. But secondly, it has to be good for that runtime because otherwise it's not going to earn the money back. You know, 3 hours 10 minutes means that this film won't be able to put on as many showings a day as other shorter films will be able to. And as such, you're minimising the pool of opportunity for people to watch the film at any given time. Thus, your pool of opportunity for profit becomes less and less. So this has to be good for many reasons. So we can dive into this today. We actually covered James Cameron's comments on Marvel recently over on my live stream channel, which you'll find linked below in the description box, Mr. Reviews Live Archives. And we were talking about how James Cameron's commentary doesn't really make an awful lot of sense in some regard, because he was critiquing Marvel for their characters not growing up, basically. And the thing is, because obviously he was directly commenting on The Way of Water and his characters growing up, but fundamentally you're comparing chalk and cheese. So it is interesting, and I do wonder whether there's a sort of, you know, an air of insecurity to it, I guess, maybe preemptively sort of lashing out on other beloved brands because he doesn't know whether his film will do very well. This is just speculation, I don't know. I'm not stating either way, but it is interesting nonetheless. So check out that channel in the description box. Subscribe. There's very interesting conversations. You don't have to watch the whole stream either. I just clip them as individual videos and highlights and stuff. So check it out. But let's dive into this. This is, The Hollywood Reporter. And they're in it with the puns straight away. Be prepared for a long soak, they say. James Cameron's Avatar The Way of Water has a runtime befitting the 13-year wait for the sequel. 13 years, ladies and gents. 13 years for this film. And this is, I think, one of the key issues with this film as well. You know, you are 13 years late on the sequel. It doesn't matter how good the technology is. You know, a story, I mean, yeah, it can get a bit old within 13 years of waiting. Now, around 3 hours 10 minutes, sources tell the Hollywood Reporter, is the runtime. So Avatar 2 hopes to join an elite club of longer Hollywood tentpoles that have done blockbuster business in theatres, including Avengers Endgame, which is 3 hours 2 minutes. I found that very long. And Cameron's Titanic, which was 3 hours 14 minutes. The two films rank number 2 and 3, respectively, and on Comscore's list of top grossing movies of all time at the worldwide box office, not adjusted for inflation. And this is the thing, just because there's a precedent for it doesn't mean that that's the way to go. You know, I don't... 3 hours, 10 minutes is a long time to be watching blue cat people running around, you know, like a CGI world. So I don't know how engrossed that, you know, audiences are going to be with that. I think, yeah, I just, honestly, I just don't know. You know? Now, they comment on Avatar's, you know, the original Avatar, which was released in 2009. That film was 29 minutes shorter than the sequel, so it's 2 hours 41 minutes. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, they're talking about, you know, longer movies, etc., etc. Spider-Man No Way Home, which was, you know, under 2 hours. Well, 2 hours. It was 2 hours 28 minutes, but again, that had almost earned its runtime, if that makes sense. You know, they talk about other things. You know, Matt Reeves' The Batman, 2 hours 55 minutes, which loads of people commented on saying, well, that felt too long. So these kind of comparisons are not actually that good. But yeah, 3 hours 10 minutes. 3 hours 10 minutes. It's a bloody long time. However, there very clearly is still an interest in this, because after D23, Disney in 20th Century issued a remastered version of the first Avatar in order to prime audiences for the sequel. So the re-release grossed $26 million plus at the global box office. I think that was over a 2-week period, if I remember right, which is quite crazy when you think about it. And there were some comments from James Cameron on run times, right? You know, 20th Century Fox executives wanted to trim down Avatar's runtime. So this is his sort of thought process on runtimes in general. They wanted to remove a key sequence, but he refused to budge. And he said, I think I felt at the time that we clashed over certain things. For example, the studio felt that the film would be shorter, should be shorter, and that there was too much flying around on the Icarans. What the humans call the Banshees. Well, it turns out that's what the audiences loved the most in terms of our exit polling and data gathering. And that's a place where I just drew a line in the sand and said, you know what, I made Titanic. This building that we're meeting in right now, this new $500 million complex on your lot, Titanic paid for that, so I get to do this. And that's his sort of mindset on this, is that, you know, he's done Titanic, he can basically do what he likes. And you know what, I'm sure there's loads of people that agree with that, but I just think to myself, goodness me, 3 hours 10 minutes, this film has to be good for 3 hours 10 minutes. Like I said at the start, it has to be good from multiple aspects, because you as an audience member, and you're not going to want to sit there for 3 hours 10 minutes with a boring film. You're just not. You know, and these characters themselves, they were somewhat paper thin, right? The story was pretty paper thin. So if this is 3 hours 10 minutes of understanding and exploring these characters a bit more, oh yeah, maybe, like, that sounds like it could be a little bit better. But this has to be good for 3 hours 10 minutes, let alone the fact that this is a 13-year wait between the first and the second film. So I hand it on over to you. What do you think? Because whenever I do these videos, I am consistently surprised by the amount of people that drop in and absolutely love Avatar. You know, it's a movie which made, currently, you look around, has had no cultural impact at all. No sort of recognition beyond its first year, where people dressed up at Halloween. And then after that, it sort of dissipated into nothingness. So it's interesting. And that's why I ask you, are you interested in this, and will you be there opening weekend for 3 hours 10 minutes?